Now, with the lower of the two, this is how you're going to be able to figure out what you're doing here specifically. Let me stop my camera. I think it's lagging. This is how you figure out what you're doing here specifically on the market rent. And because it's the lower of the two, that's how you'll be able to see what the true market rent you're able to achieve on this thing. And this says right here within a 0.75 mile radius for 25 units, this is the average rent you're able to rent this property. So that's why, because this is the lower of the two, 1206 compared to 1240, we're going to use 1200 as a conservative estimate. And we're not going to believe this person who says that the long-term rental rent is 1500. Okay. We're going to go where the market says, whatever the comparable adjustments are. Now, from that point onwards, we're going to go ahead and analyze the deal completely from beginning to end. Now, this property, let's see, where they're going to purchase it at. They're going to purchase it at $169,900. Okay, so we're going to put in the purchase price, $169,900. The renovation for this property, if we assume that we just got to repaint the entire place at 792 square feet, we always set aside about $1,500 for roof repairs. Usually we set aside $500 for some landscaping. This is a whole list, so you can go through all of it. 792. So we're going to assume that it costs $3 a square foot to repaint the entire place. I didn't see any flooring updates in some of the old photos, but who knows what the condition of the home is now. But you will find out whether it's a deal once you get your inspection or you get closer to the property. I'm going to zero out some of these because I'm going to assume to renovate the bathrooms are in good shape, but I always replace the toilet with a high pressure flush toilet, and there's only one bathroom, so that's about $450 there for the high pressure flush one. I'm not replacing any HVAC like we did for the last home. I'm assuming the water heater is working. Maybe there's some termite issues, so I'm gonna leave aside no termite. So I'm gonna leave aside $13,000 for rehab, just in case on this property. Now, that's gonna equals to 33,000. And that's going to be equals $13,000 for rehab. So let's walk this number through, right? So we have $1,200 in rent. Now the down payment is going to be $30,490. $30,490, and that did not include closing costs. So we're going to put 2.5% of the purchase price for closing costs, and we got almost 13 grand of renovations. Okay. Now for this property specifically, this is a custom loan by the seller. So they're going to finance it for $139,410. This is at a what percent interest rate? 5.5% interest rate, 5.5. It's going to be amortized over 20 years, 12 payments over each year. It's going to start on May 1st. The balloon's going to be in 20 years. So that is what it is. Wait, is there? Let me see. Balloon, no balloon. Okay. So it's a 20-year term. So that's how much the seller will make over the course in time. So in order for you to get the TI, you're going to see that this equals to $958.98. That's right. We've got another $257 for escrow payment. And I'm also going to assume that the insurance is going to keep going up because you're in Florida. So I'm going to add an extra $30 a month for security purposes. And now I have 10% for maintenance. We always set aside minimum, at least 7 to 10%, because think about landscaping. Think about things that will eventually break, right? You're going to have a home with a roof that eventually is going to give way, and you are going to have to replace that roof. So this money that you receive every single month, at least 10% of that money does not belong to you. That's something you want to pay attention to. Then you have property management, and we have property management for roughly around 10%, which you want to have these numbers in place just in case you want to hire a property manager. Now, some folks might want to self-manage and they can save on this money, but if you don't underwrite with property management in place right now and make the deal work, then you are essentially buying another job. And that's not what we got into real estate for, right? We got into real estate for passive income, and we do not want to not underwrite for property manager, because then we don't get the financial freedom, the freedom of time to do whatever we want, which is the original purpose of why we did it anyways. Then we have vacancy of 5%, because eventually someone moves out and you got to have those expenses in place. Now, with that number, if you assume that the rent is $1,200, this would be a losing deal at negative $345. Now, I did not use $1,500 because I did my own due diligence. I don't believe the wholesaler. And I found that the rent is probably closer to $1,200 and not $1,500. And even the best case scenario, even including utilities, you would get $1,240, but then you had to deduct it, right? So this doesn't make any sense. And this is why this is not a deal. So let me go ahead and plug all these numbers in so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So every scenario, 1240, 1200, the cash flow at that rent will be negative 346, and that's a negative 8.7% cash on cash return, assuming your purchase price was 169,900 with a roughly $13,000 rehab. Even if you increase it to what the wholesaler is saying is at $1,500, this is still a negative 120 cash flow because you have to take out expenses for maintenance. Remember, this money does not belong to you. So sometimes people might mislead you and say, oh, the PITI is 958 and your property insurance is this. And so my cash flow is just my rent minus that. That's not, no way. No way. There's always expenses, right? Something in the home always needs to get fixed. And that's the reason why we go through this process to analyze the deal and underwrite it properly. All right. So that was the process for today. That's a part of our analysis. So this is what I do. This is why we do this, right? The whole point of this is for all of you to copy my homework. And if you think about the reason why some folks don't invest in real estate, it's because sometimes folks will say, I don't have the money. Well, again, I'm not soliciting any investments, but there are many, many people in the world that is looking to other people to show them how to spot, most importantly, what's not a deal, because no one wants to ever lose money. Now, this is not investment advice. You should always, always consult your own financial advisors. But what did we just go through, right? We've been going live together for 205 days, analyzing deals. And if you look back on that and just copied all my homework using the same spreadsheet, just DM me on Instagram your email address, and I will send you the spreadsheet. Now, all of a sudden, you have your own YouTube channel of 205 properties that you looked at. Might that give you some confidence that you know what you're doing? And if a partner ever asks you, hey, why do you think this is a deal? Well, point them to your own YouTube channel at that point in time and show them that you have analyzed 205 deals. Might that make your partners feel like you know what you're doing? Just remember, all it takes is 18 minutes a day of analyzing deals, and you'll be better at analyzing deals than 95% of the country. Just like that, 18 minutes a day, that consistency. And all you have to do, and I understand how scary it can be to get started. Sometimes we're scared because we don't know which path to take or even know what the options are. But let this be one of the easiest steps. Copying my homework, take credit for it, and then just go ahead and put it on your own YouTube channel. And then you will start developing that credibility, and you will probably have more credibility than many, many other people in the country. Just know that if you want to buy 1,000 units, chances are you probably have to analyze 10,000 properties. Now, for you to ever analyze that many deals, you have to start getting really good at defining your criteria. And then all of a sudden, if you look at my YouTube video from yesterday, you will see how I recognized that something was not a deal within like a minute, if even. And that's how you avoid burnout. Remember, this game is about the long game. It's also about outlasting everybody. And in order for you to outlast everybody, you have to avoid burnout. And you get burnt out when you do an incredible amount of work without any results. And that's the most discouraging thing that can happen to a lot of people. So when you get this process down, you know what your criteria is, and you know what your friends or family also are interested in. Now, all of a sudden, you know exactly how to connect the dots, and now you're just helping people. You're providing value to others just by analyzing deals for them because of the skill that you have. All right. So this is why I do this every single day. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to the live today. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for caring about affordable housing. Without people like all of you, I would have never had the home I grew up in. So thank you so much for caring. I'll be back here again tomorrow for day 206. I'm going to be in Orlando for the Squad Up Summit conference. So I can't wait to meet so many people there. All right. Have an amazing night, everybody.